Well, yoga is something that's wonderful for everyone to practice, but just as you do any exercise or any activity, there is a chance that you can injure yourself. So I really want everyone to be safe while they're doing their yoga, and I think there are a few principles to keep in mind as you go through your yoga practice. So one complaint I hear sometimes in the people practicing yoga is that their wrists are hurting when they're bearing weight. And so there are a couple of things you can think about when you're doing that, namely to take most of the weight on the thumb side of your wrist whenever you're doing that, any weight bearing there, and also to notice the position of the shoulder in comparison to the wrist to avoid any hyperextension. You always want your shoulder to be either directly over the wrist or just slightly behind, never in front of the wrist, to prevent that hyperextension. So shoulders are also an area that's it's a relatively unstable joint, and so you always want to again work with stability, work with awareness. And one pose that can really kind of over repeated action injure the joint is lowering from a plank into a chaturanga, which is kind of a yoga push-up. And so you always want to prevent the shoulder from dipping beneath the elbow. And when we do that chaturanga position or yoga push-up, you're pulling your elbows in towards your ribs to keep, again, that stability there and activation in the upper back. The knee is also a vulnerable joint in yoga. Sometimes people are too aggressive. They want to get into advanced poses. You always want to protect your knee by avoiding hyperextension. So some people are actually hypermobile in the knee. So if you're doing a standing pose, you want to make sure you're not hyperextending. You're using the muscles to control the stability of the joint. And also, if you're standing with your knee bent, the knee should be directly over the ankle, not rolling in toward the big toe. So I think everyone can practice yoga. There are many different styles of yoga, many different classes, different levels of intensity. And also there are ways to modify just about every pose so that you can safely get into the pose. We also have many props available. You can use bolsters and straps and blocks to sometimes bring the floor a little closer if you can't quite reach where you think you need to reach, or just changing a position of a part of your body. And your yoga teacher should be able to help you with those modifications. And it's particularly helpful to ask before class or after class for that advice. All right, we'll see you in class. Namaste.